All right, today we're going to dive into a real masterpiece of satire by the legendary Harishankar Parsai. It all starts with a seemingly random meeting at a railway station. But trust me, it quickly peels back the layers on hypocrisy, politics, and how society can be manipulated. So let's get into it and break down this absolutely brilliant piece of commentary. And wow, right out of the gate, we're put on the back foot. The Swami's opening line is just a masterclass in condescension. He flips a common social quirk on its head to immediately make himself seem smarter, more enlightened. The power dynamic is set in that very first sentence. And you just know this isn't your average holy man.
So picture this, a busy railway station. Our narrator, who's basically Parsai himself, bumps into a Swami. But as we're about to find out, this is no simple, humble ascetic who's given up worldly things. No, he's something else entirely.
And right here, you see the first clues that things are a little off. I mean, he looks the part, tall, strong, wearing the saffron robes, but it's the little details, right? The clothes aren't just saffron, they're saffron silk. He's got a gold-handled cane, and his assistant is just chilling, listening to movie songs on a radio. This is a man who loves the look of spirituality, but has zero interest in giving up modern comforts. So what's this modern guru's grand, noble cause? Well, he's on his way to Delhi for a huge Go Raksha, a cow protection movement. He calls it a holy war. And this one single mission, this supposed holy quest, becomes the very thing Parsai uses to launch his entire satirical attack. Now, our narrator, instead of being all impressed or intimidated, he does something really smart. He just gently starts to pull at a loose thread. He doesn't get into a big fight. He just asks a few simple, logical questions to see how deep this supposed devotion actually goes. I mean, it's the most obvious question in the world, isn't it? If you're about to lead a holy war to protect the cow mother, you'd think you'd be the first in line to drink her milk. It's such a simple, elegant way to test if he actually practices what he preaches. And there it is, the first major crack in the whole performance. The great protector of the cow admits he actually prefers buffalo milk. And why? Not for some deep spiritual reason, but because it makes better dessert. For this so-called holy man, his grand principles can't compete with a good, creamy robbery. Convenience and personal taste win hands down. The narrator just keeps pulling on that logical thread. He's like, okay, so if giving milk makes something a mother, then shouldn't the buffalo get that title too? It's brilliant. He's using the Swami's own logic to back him into a corner and expose how inconsistent it all is. And here we have the classic escape hatch. When logic becomes a problem, you just throw it out the window. The Swami retreats into this fuzzy, vague idea of sentiment. It's the perfect defense, really, because how can you possibly argue with someone's feelings? It's a total shutdown of the conversation. Our narrator sees an opening here. He takes this vague idea of sentiment and ties it to something much more real and calculated: politics. He starts to ask about the convenient timing of this big wave of emotion. That is a direct hit. The narrator is basically saying, I've noticed a pattern here. This sacred love for the cow doesn't just bubble up out of nowhere. It seems to get really, really strong right when people are about to vote. Is that just a holy coincidence? Or is it a strategy? And the most incredible part? The Swami doesn't even get offended. He's shockingly honest about it. He basically smirks and says the cow mother shows up in politicians' dreams right before an election and tells them to use her to get votes from a gullible public. The game is the game, and he's happy to admit it. And this is where the conversation takes a much darker turn. The narrator stops talking about hypocrisy and politics and starts talking about the real human suffering in the country and how this whole movement just ignores it. This gets right to the heart of Parsai's entire argument. On one side, you've got these massive, crushing problems people are facing every day. And on the other side, the Swami's one-size-fits-all solution for absolutely everything. The gap between the real problem and the proposed solution is not just huge, it's completely intentional. Any idea that maybe the Swami is just a little misguided is completely shattered with this one line. He says it so plainly: humans are worthless. Why? Because they ask questions, they demand things. His priority is suddenly crystal clear. Humans are a nuisance because they want a fair share of the wealth. The cow is just a convenient, quiet symbol to rally around. Okay, so now the Swami, maybe he sees our narrator as a worthy student or something, decides to just drop the act completely. He's about to pull back the curtain and show us the real, cynical game being played here. And there it is, this secret doctrine. The Swami lays it out like it's political science 101. When people start getting angry about real economic issues, fair wages, affordable food, justice, they become dangerous to the people in power. So what do? You get them fighting about something else, anything else. What an incredible, powerful metaphor. Think about that image. An entire population moving forward, about to achieve real change, and you just stop them in their tracks. You tie them to a stationary object with an emotional rope. All that momentum for justice just dies. It's a chillingly perfect description. The Swami then gives a perfect real-world example. A mob, literally starving, is about to take grain from a guy who's hoarding it. The Swami steps in. He doesn't offer them food. He offers them outrage. He holds up a bone and screams at a temple has been defiled. And just like that, the mob's anger switches from their empty stomachs to religious fury. The original target, the green merchant, not only gets away with it, he becomes a hero by paying to purify the temple. The actual problem of hunger? Completely forgotten. And here's the final piece of the puzzle. Who's paying for this whole show? The Swami admits, with a laugh, that it's the very same merchants and rich guys who are causing the problems in the first place. Of course they are. They are more than happy to fund any distraction that keeps the public's anger pointed anywhere but at them. It's a perfect, self-sustaining system of manipulation. And it's not going to stop with the cow. Oh no. The narrator asks what's next, and the Swami already has a whole pipeline of fake outrage ready to go. After the cow, it'll be about lions and circuses. After that, they'll go after fishermen. The supply of emotional, symbolic issues that don't actually solve anything is apparently endless. The narrator makes one last joke, asking what's going to be done for the owl, the vehicle of the goddess of wealth. And the Swami delivers Parsai's final, devastating punchline. He says everything is already being done for the owl. In a country that is deliberately kept in the darkness of ignorance and distraction, the owl, the creature that sees best in the dark, is the only one having a good time. And that leaves us with one last chilling question. This story was written decades ago, but its breakdown of political manipulation, of manufactured outrage, and the cynical art of distraction, it feels like it could have been written this morning. It really forces you to ask, have the tools of distraction changed at all? Or have we just gotten used to the feeling of that rope tied around our own necks?